Welcome to How to Hang a Door. Today I'm going to fit this door in this frame. I'm going to use a knife to mark the height of the door and to mark for the hinges. I'm going to use today a router to cut the hinge rebase. I'm going to use a saw to cut the door down to size. I'm going to use a chisel to finish around the hinges. Packers just to get it to the right place. And a drill driver to pilot hole for the hinges and to fix the hinges on the door. I'm going to use a router today for the hinge rebates, but I've also got a video which will be here on cutting the rebates with chisels. Right, first step is to get the door in position and mark how much I need to cut off and mark for the hinges. Let's do that. Okay, got the door resting on 4mm packers because I want a 4mm gap. If you want a 3mm gap, rest it on 3mm packers. Then hold another 4mm packer at the top and mark a line underneath. Do it in a few points and join the line up with a knife. Now we'll take that out again, cut the top off, then we can get the door in snug against the hinges and mark the hinges. So first point is to cut the top off this door. Right, we've got our small marks on the door. Then we take Lenny the level, the most valuable player in the toolkit, and we join them up. Nice deep, get through the fibres, do a few passes. Then we're going to use our circular saw. Now, when I did the other door, I used a planer, and actually that takes longer, but it's probably a bit more accurate. You can probably get a bit more accurate. But what I'm doing here is I've set up the fence here in the saw to get the right side of the blade on this cut line. Now, when I did the other side, I stupidly forgot that the last time I used this saw, I had this set up 4 degrees. So I've cut the one underneath already with a 4-degree angle on it. Don't do that. Make sure your saw is on 0. Right, let's do a little test. Make sure you got your fingers out of the way. Clamp on the front. Now, this is not coming off because of my back cut. Just to show you that error I made. So the cut you just saw me do was the top side, which actually cut well, gave a nice cut, lined up nicely with the score, so that's fine. But the one I did on the other side, off camera, stupidly, I had an angle set on the saw, so I've back cut into the bottom. So this was going to be the top of the door, but what I think I'll do now is have this as the bottom, and what I'll probably do is use this on the outside face, which might be too bad because any water running down there means it won't run back uphill there. So I'll use this now as the outside bottom face. Use this as the inside. The outside is also going to be clad in cedar, so that won't be an issue. So just be aware, make sure your saw is on 0 before you start cutting doors. Right, now let's mark the hinges. We've got the door resting on 4mm packers at the bottom. We've got a 4mm gap at the top. So now what we're going to do is mark for the hinges, for cutting out the hinge rebates. So easiest way, rest your knife on the top of the hinge and just rock it back. Just make a little point there, a little mark, same underneath. Don't go too far out into the door because you'll damage the face of the front of the door. You just need a little mark there to mark the top and bottom points, so when we cut our rebates out, they're in the right place. Do all 3 hinges or 4 hinges or however many hinges you got. Then next we'll cut the rebates out. Right, we've got the hinges marked. So we did our little mark on the edges. Now I'm just making those a bit deeper. And I'm going to mark around the hinge. So we want the hinge with the 2 connections to the barrel on the door. And I'm lining up this edge with the edge of the door. And just like we did in the video where I did this with chisels, we're just going to mark the corner there, mark the other corner there. So we've got the 2 corners marked there on the back, and we've got the 2 corners marked on the front. Now I'm going to use my square. I'm going to mark one side, just breaking down the fibres of the wood so that when I go through eventually with a chisel, it's nice, it's a clean edge. Just need to extend that a little bit there so I can see it, so I know how far to go there. See, I'll use my left and my right hand there. I'll give my right arm to be ambidextrous. So that's the sides marked. And now I will use this rule on its own to mark the back. Let's just make sure it's a bit harder with the light here. Okay. Just go through a few times. Okay, so we've got a marked line, a line marked. Now we're going to use the chisel to make those a bit stronger. Just a few taps. So I'm just making these marks a bit stronger. I'm not trying to remove anything. Just going around, following my score line. Right, now, so I've got a video of doing this with chisels, which will be linked here, but now I'm going to use the router for this one, just to show how to do it with the router. So now what you want to do is a flat cut bit in the router, and you want to position it just so that it's the depth of the hinge. Okay, I can just feel the edge of the cutting piece above the hinge, and then I'm going to cut out the material now with the router. So you want to make sure it doesn't go up and down or rock. Just try and hold it flat. So you can see I'm just removing the material and I'm just going up. I'm just coming up to the line here. I'm not trying to actually touch the line. I'm going to do the final part with the chisel. Okay, now I can actually just use the chisel by hand to take out the last piece. Just keep going around. Just use the chisel. Just start taking out part of that. So you just work your way around. Start coming in from the front. Go through again from the side, from the top. Now you can bring it down to the same level. So this is probably quicker than the chisel method, but obviously to do this you need a router. You might not have one, so you just got to work the chisel into the corner on both sides at the back. Go down the edges. And let's see if we've marked it right and cut it right, then it should fit right, like that, like a glove, like a glovey hinge. There you go. That's how you do it with a router. Right, next we'll fix the hinges and get it in the door frame. Right, hopefully you can see this. So we've got the door resting on a couple of Trend inflatable pumpulators. Then you need a friend here to help you hold the door in place. Then I've already fixed the hinges to the door. Now I've lost the drill though. So what you need to do is make sure you know where your drill is, which is here. So you can attach the hinges to the door. So, with it in place, just put a couple of screws in. Let's try and get one into the top. One in the bottom. Put another one in each hinge. Now, I'm only putting these in so that I'm going to put both doors in so that I can see if there's a gap between the two and do I need to take anything off the doors. Once you're happy with the whole position, then you can put the other screws in, all 4 screws obviously in each hinge, but that is the door hung. Let's take the little inflatable jacks out. Let's see if the door closes. Look at that, like a door that closes and is hung on a door frame. There you go, that is how you hang a door. Next video, which will be here, will be putting the door furniture on, putting the lock in and putting some bolts on the other door so that we can see how the 2 doors work together. But if you're hanging one door, that is it, done. Door hung. Watch out for the next video for the door furniture. See you there.